G'day gang, I hope you're well. Reidy here with your report for Monday the 5th of November. Guy Fawkes night, by the way, so if you've got a couple of fireworks kicking around, feel free to shoot them up in the air like you just don't care. So, 322 auctions on the weekend, so obviously a lot less due to Derby Day, and interestingly on a Saturday the actual clearance rate rose, and that is no coincidence, gang. It's not because people were feeling lucky, it's not because people were hedging their bets like they would have done at the races. Less auctions means that there's more buyers per property or more buyers per auction, and therefore you've got a higher probability of getting success. Now, I want to tackle this whole traditionalist style train of thought that the majority of the industry has, because a lot of it is really misplaced now. Now, I don't want to knock anyone that feels like they can have a social life. Absolutely not. And if you've been going to Derby Day for ages, so on and so forth, look, totally understand that, and I'm not knocking that in any way, shape or form. However, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome, and that is exactly what is happening in the real estate industry right now. Let's tune into our consumers for a second, gang, because ultimately, a heck of a lot of them don't like gambling, or they don't do the horse racing, for example. So on this weekend, effectively any of the auctions that were happening or were taking place, we certainly felt this, it was so much easier to get action because they were all out and had less to get distracted by. So guys, when it comes to strategy, putting your strategy together, now, I'm not saying do them on Christmas Day, because that really could stretch it a little bit too far. But at the same time, have a look at what we've always done, recognize the fact that it might not be the right thing to do right now, and look at changing things up. Because guys, there's not a great probability of you getting a great deal of success at auction at this point in time under the hammer, like we mentioned last week. However, this is exactly the right time to be trying something different, to give yourself at least a shot at getting a better outcome. I've got a couple of the clients that I'm catching up with this week that haven't been traditional auction people. However, because of the fact that their days on market have drifted out and it's getting harder and harder to get these things sold, they're actually asking me to go sit with them, go through a proper strategy, and actually looking at going completely the way, all the way into auction land, to actually try and give themselves a point of difference, to actually try and be different and actually get a different outcome. That's what we've got to do, again. So pay attention, because your consumers don't really care about a lot of the traditions that real estate seems to work its life around, but at the same time, pay attention to the numbers as well. It's the same with 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. on a Saturday. I would avoid at all costs if I was still on the front line, because that is when a heck of a lot of the auctions take place, because that's when they've always happened. Guys, that is exactly the time that there's going to be so many more auctions that will be getting done at that time. Therefore, your buyers are going to have way more distractions and way more reasons to not turn up and bid at yours. So have a think about that, because the numbers don't lie, the logic does not lie, and you can't argue with it, gang. So have a think and look at changing things up. Take a deep breath, because at the end of the day, what would you rather do? Do the same thing and get the same poor outcome and have the same frustrations? Or try something different and maybe give yourself a chance of getting a better result? I don't know. Have a think about it. Have a great week, gang. We'll speak to you soon.